Hi guys and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin and this is episode 46. Bitcoin is a hedge against government fiscal irresponsibilities, and is Ripple decentralized or not? And we also have more articles to cover, right? Anyways, if you're catching this stream live, welcome, and if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions, please let us know in the comment section below. Now, if you want to keep up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure you subscribe, you hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. If you don't know, we're live every night at 9 p.m. Central, so if you haven't done it yet, you should definitely hit that subscribe button and that bell so you're notified. Now, if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on the Discord. The link is in the description. One second, guys. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick, so yesterday I was feeling better. Today I'm still feeling a little bit better, but same, a little bit of the raspy voice and you know, some cough. But anyways, like I was saying, if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on Discord, links in the description, right? On to the news. What is happening, right, in the crypto space? Anyways, Dash will begin trading on Coinbase Pro. Deposits will be accepted today, or they were starting to get accepted today, followed by trades opening on Tuesday at 16 hours UTC. Now, Coinbase announced its review of 8 cryptocurrencies earlier last month. Of those that they were studying, Dash was the first to be approved. Now, the other coins that they were considering are Algorand, Cosmos, Decreed, Matic, Harmony, Ontology, and Waves. Right, so Dash is basically, for those of you who know, it's a proof of work crypto focused on payments and security, right? That's the way we can resume Dash. Anyways, let's go on to the market, right? What is happening? Well, yesterday we had a nice green day, right? Well, a lot of indecision going on, basically. Money going in, flowing out, still making green day on market cap, basically money flowing into the cryptosphere. Basically, yesterday we closed at $258.1 billion, so 0.27% up. Right now, we are down that 0.27%, sitting at $257.4 billion. What is going on with Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin lost dominance yesterday, right? Again, meaning the alts are gaining dominance. Bitcoin around 71.34 right now. Yesterday, it went 0.6% down from an opening of 71.81, closing at 71.38. Right now, it's down 0.06. Like I said, 71.34 right now, down. Anyways, let's go on to the Bitcoin articles, right? Yo, snap. I think I went over an article that I wanted to cover. Did I? No. Why did I have this open? Oh, this is the other coin that they were trying to add. Anyways, Bitcoin is a hedge against government fiscal irresponsibility. This is an article that I found today. It basically is from an interview on CNN yesterday with Travis Kling, a veteran of the multi-billion-dollar hedge fund Point72. Now, he argued that specific properties of Bitcoin make it an exceptional insurance policy against monetary and fiscal irresponsibilities from central banks and governments globally, right? Now, this is actually quotes from him, right? He's saying, now is an incredibly interesting time for global macro perspective, and it appears that crypto has been created for such a time as this. With that, we have, in terms of monetary and fiscal policies from central banks and governments, big tech overreach, government overreach, data privacy issues that are coming to the center of the collective consciousness. Now, Kling observed that the world needs Bitcoin as an insurance policy more today than it did yesterday, and he's saying that it will need it more tomorrow than it does today. Now, he's also stating that it is apparent that central banks are all racing to devalue their currencies, and then he poses the question, what are they devaluing against? They're devaluing against assets that have probable scarcity. Now, Bitcoin has even more probable scarcity than gold, It's the hardest money in human history. Those are his words, right? So basically, crypto is a sort of insurance policy against governments, right? We kind of heard that before, and we talked about it, that people are seek refuge from whatever the government's doing on Bitcoin, right? Especially when rates come down. Anyways, that's the only article we have for Bitcoin. We're gonna jump into the chart on Bitcoin. Man, red day, right? Above that 20 MA still. Volatility is still open on the Bollinger Bands. Not too open as it was before, but still a little bit open, right? Above that 20 MA, starting to make less positive momentum. About to get across of the MACD line over the signal line. Sitting around 48 on the RSI. We're very neutral, right? We have been moving sideways. We've stated this before. We should be careful because we are within this sort of symmetrical triangle, right? The green line, and the yellow line. And we've stated this plenty of times. They could break either way, right? And right now, as you can see, at least since this movement up on September 3rd, we just have been moving sideways in the more macro picture, right? This has been an area that we've just been moving around for a while now. We are still sitting above that support of 10,239. That is fine. We wicked below it. That's fine. We use that 20 MA as sort of support. That is also fine. We just have to be careful because a lot of people are expecting for a break to happen this week, right? Backed being launched on the 23rd of September. So we might get a wild week with a lot of speculation started to go in and money pumping in and out of Bitcoin. So we definitely could start to see some movements. Just be careful. Don't get wrecked if you take positions. Have clear stops. Stick to your trading strategy. So what happened? We kind of broke back into this channel, right? We used it as this is a 4-hour. We broken out of this channel, this downsloping channel that we had within this other downsloping channel, right? We used it as support. That was fine. Then we kind of broke into it. Had this sort of morning star develop, right? But it's not really a morning star. Usually morning stars come after bear trends, and it's usually a reversal, right? So meaning we would start a bullish trend. Anyways, we saw that price action to the upside, got negated again, and we're basically making a negative price right now. So we are sitting below 20 MA. Volatility expanded a little bit on the Bollinger Bands. That is fine, nothing to worry there. We are outside of this channel right now. I'm just gonna extend it to check if we used it as resistance. I think we were here before, right? Yeah, as support. Sorry. And we did use it as support again. Like we broke into it, broke out of it, and then we used it as support. Bounced off it, went above that old resistance of 10,234. Are using it as support right now. That is fine. What are we doing, right? We are making less negative momentum. We are still sitting at 47 on the RSI, which is quite neutral. So, are we doing something, right? Let's see. No, this is lower, making less negative momentum. This is lower. We're still making less negative momentum. What is this bar saying at 27.72 and 24? No, it's even lower, right? So we are higher, and we are higher on negative momentum. That is fine. Nothing really to look at on the 4 hours that would scream something is happening, right? Let's go on the 1 hour and see what's going on. On the 1 hour, what happened, right? We make this negative momentum. We made positive momentum. We are starting to stagnate a little bit. Indecision. We are around that 10,234, right? We're actually sitting at 10,235 right now. So a little bit above it. That is fine. We are above the 20 MA. We had a cross of the MACD over the signal line. We usually state that when we get those crosses, we get price action happening, right? And we did. We did get a nice impulse up, another impulse up following. Trying to figure out if there's anything else at play here. We trace that potential bearish divergence. Apparently, we never came up and touched this, so we can delete it. I left it there on purpose so we could trace it and see what was going on. Now we can remove this. Again, things that could potentially happen, right? Let me go from here to here. And then from here to here, it would be hidden bearish divergence that we would be developing. When I get rid of this line, it doesn't apply. So again, this could indicate potential price action, continuation, downside, whatever. That's probably why we broke down here. We failed to make a higher high with this positive momentum that we were making. That's fine. Nothing to worry there. This will be expected, right? What else is going on? So volatility is open, sitting over the 20 MA. Like we said, momentum started to decrease, stagnate a little bit, and sitting around 49.17 on the RSI, which is very neutral. So not much going on here that would scream bullish, right? What is this at? Let's see, 19.41 and 22.69. This was a lower low, and we're making more negative momentum than we were here. Again, it's just congruent with the market. We had an impulse up, if you want to call this an impulse up on the 1 hour. Impulse down, down sloping consolidation. Again, reversal. We're impulsing up, now down sloping consolidation. This would usually mean price action to the upside, right? So we might see a pump up, maybe. Still have to wait and see what's going on. We are now sitting below that resistance, so let's see how the next couple hours play out, right? Anyways, that will be it for Bitcoin. 6 people watching. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I don't have any news for Ethereum, so I'm just going to jump into the chart. And then I do have news for the remaining coins. So let's go Ethereum on the daily. What is happening with Ethereum? Making a nice positive day, right? Sitting at 4.22% up right now. Still making positive day. 0.23. This day just started 2 hours ago. Just remember that. So that's nice. We're sitting at 8.27% on market cap. We do want to be above 8%. It certainly gives us a little bit more like strength against Bitcoin fluctuation, but still Bitcoin is such a big player that it can still drag the market along, right? But small drops we could be able to tolerate a little bit better. Anyways, onto the price. What is happening? Nice impulse up yesterday, right? Like one leg, flag, second leg, probably flagging again. We are starting to do negative right now, 0.23% from yesterday, and right now, yesterday was 4.37% from the prior day. So that's pretty good. Let's go see what's happening, right? We are seeing above that 20 MA. Volatility expanded a little bit on the Bollinger Bands. That is fine. Still making positive momentum. That is also pretty good. At some point in time, if we keep making positive momentum, we're going to start to stagnate on the highs that we're making and the momentum, and we're going to develop a sort of bearish divergence, and then we'll have to break down, right? Nothing can go up forever. You need to have retraces. That is healthy market action. So what is happening? We're sitting at 60.91 on the RSI. A little bit high on the bot, but not overbought, definitely. But on the high bot scale, let's say. Let's go into a little more micro scale. The 4 hours. What is happening? Definitely. We had this sort of flag that we traced. We broke out of it with volume. I think we did this the other day. We said we could potentially develop, and we didn't, right? Because we kept on going up, and we probably negated it. Or no, yeah, we didn't make it because we didn't make a higher bar, right? We said we had to be here at least, right? But here we were kind of bearish divergence, right? Developing. We did say price action to a downside, potentially. We did get it, the small dip, and then we popped to the upside again. Probably because Bitcoin also popped to the upside. Things that worry me again, right? We're making a higher high, and we are making a lower positive momentum bar, right? So again, bearish divergence developing, potential price action to the downside. We could probably expect to see it. Things that could happen, right? Come down, touch this, the midline of this upsloping channel that we have been in, or we can even come down and touch the 20 MA or the bottom part of the channel before we break it. And if we break it, then we would look at different targets, right? There's probably some support around this area that we've manufactured, so we could probably be supported at some price around here. But right now, I would expect some consolidation to happen, and depending on the type of consolidation that we develop, could be the type of action that we will get, right? Sitting high on the RSI at 71.73. Again, overbought, so potential price action to the downside. We're getting that bear candle, like I said. The farther we keep going up, the less positive momentum we're going to make. Starting to create this bearish divergence, price action to the downside, and being high on the RSI, we need to reset the oscillator, right? Price has to come down a little bit before we run up again, or we can tank even more, right? So just keep in mind that we need to go down to cool off this oscillator. The other thing that could happen is we could consolidate sideways, and this oscillator would slowly start to reset itself. Same thing will happen with the momentum, right? Anyways, what else is happening with Ethereum? Let's go on the 1 hour. Ethereum on the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, we don't have that bearish divergence, right? We did have it here, from here to here, from here to here, diverging. Right now, we actually went higher, right? We did the opposite than the 4 hours. So from here to here would be higher, would be congruent with the market and with what's going on. Therefore, in the 1 hour, we're not developing that divergence. We could certainly wait for something else to happen. Where were we here on price? We were going higher, and we also went higher on the RSI. I didn't check that on the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, man, we're also making that divergence on the 4 hours, right? We are higher, or it depends on where you want to take it, but we can say here. That's that same point we traced to here. We'd also be making that bearish divergence on the RSI, again on the 4 hours, being a more significant scale, could have more weight. Here we will be congruent, right? Making it higher high with more positive momentum, and we would only be diverging somewhat on the RSI, not so much on the MACD. Anyways, on the MACD, what happened? Is this lower? Is this the same? More or less the same. We probably, same price action, right? Same low, but more negative momentum. It's kind of like the same low. If we ignore the wicks, because this has no wicks, this candle, we'll be going up, and then we will be going down from here to here, and this would be a form of hidden bullish divergence that we developed, right? It's very slight, but still price action continuation, so price action to the upside. We see that happening congruent with what we saw earlier on the other chart, popping us up to the upside. Again, broke out of this, saw that measure move. I had this as the measure move indicator. We did hit it. Right now, I didn't want to do that. There we go. What else is happening here? Let's see. So above that 20 MA, nice impulse up. We're starting to consolidate again. Maybe it's too small of a pattern, right? It's just 6 hours that have been developing, but we could be making a sort of pennant. And again, the 4 hour bearish divergence does worry me a little bit, right? Especially that we see that we have it on the RSI as well on the 1 hour. But depending if we get a little bit more price action to the downside, then we'll be probably making some sort of downsloping, either flag or wedge or something, and then that would be bullish sign. Potentially could go up, right? Hey Finn, how's it going, man? Happy Monday night. Thank you for tuning in, man. Again, just keep in mind potential price action to the downside from the divergence. However, if we make some sort of a bull flag, we could see price action to the upside. Both possibilities are valid. Here, momentum, like I said, no divergence. Here on our side, yes, we have a bearish divergence that's congruent with what we saw in the 4 hours. Played safe with this trade, right? We're still starting to see the MACD line curve in to the signal line, which could, again, if we cross it, price action to a downside, right? Negative momentum. Thank you, man. Yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, dude, you can toss them in the chat, and we'll make sure we get to them, right? Anyways, let's move on to Ripple. Yes, everyone's here for Ripple. Well, a lot of people are here for Ripple. Anyways, sorry about that. Ripple, what is happening? Ripple, is it decentralized or not, right? That is a question that this article is posing now. Matt McKibben is the founder and chief decentralization officer at Decentralized. And according to the company's website, the purpose of Decentralized is to bring a blockchain project to life by creating partnerships and connecting entrepreneurs to investors. Now, this guy is saying that Ripple is centralized. It's basically a way for banks and large financial institutions to trade on distributed ledger. His words, not mine. I mean, I don't agree with him. This is just what the article says, right? He's saying for decentralized currencies and financial ecosystems, miners are the core component, and each system has its own modality to determine how much power and influence each miner may yield. Now, Ripple is pre-mined, right? So all the coins in existence are already out there. It cannot be mined. It does not depend. It does not depend on the miners to validate transactions and the blockchain, etc. So is it decentralized? Well, if you're just basing yourself on that, then yeah, it would be centralized, right? If that is the criteria that you're choosing. But what really makes it decentralized, right? I guess the fact that it's not owned or manipulated by anyone in particular, or there's no majority holder. Although right now Ripple would be majority holder, but the fact that it's not owned by a government and it's a currency created, not backed by a Federal Reserve or something else, it's just free floating, right? And people supply and demand determine its value. I would believe that would be decentralized, right? The fact that you are not government created or government owned. I wouldn't bank it on the miners, right? Anyways, on to the next Ripple article. Now, I found this one. I thought it was pretty cool. It says that Coil is partnering up with Mozilla to create Creative Commons to advance XRP web monetization, right? Now, if you don't know, Mozilla is a browser, but I think they were kind of dead, or at least they lost a lot of ground to Chrome. Anyways, Coil, along with Mozilla and Creative Commons, will be giving away $100 million to content creators. Keep in mind that Mozilla has around 250,000 followers on Twitter, and Creative Commons has over 500,000 followers. So this is some really good exposure for the new web monetization platform they're coming out with through Coil, and for the XRP ledger, right? Especially if they use XRP, we're gonna get a lot of word out there for Ripple and what this is doing now. Today, this is a quote from them, right? It says, "Today we're excited to announce a program which we hope will help fix monetization on the web once and for all. Coil, together with Mozilla and Creative Commons, is launching a 100 million grant for the web to benefit creators and promote the open web monetization standard. For the first time, web monetization allows users to reward creators on the web without having to rely on one particular company, currency, or payment platform. Companies such as Coil, who are providing access to the integrated to the Internet Ledger network, will have to compete with other access providers to the same way that basically ISPs have been competing for decades, right? So they're just gonna toss them on the ring. Although Coil might have the upper hand because it's one of the first ones going in. But again, if they put other providers such as Coil, then they're all gonna be competing for to provide access to the Internet Ledger network, right? Anyways, what else is going on? I think that's the only ones I have for Ripple. So I'm gonna jump onto the Ripple chart on the daily. Ripple chart on the daily. What is happening, right? We had positive day yesterday, still being rejected by 20MA on the market cap dominance. We don't do analysis for market cap. It's just very subjective, and I don't believe it brings anything to the table. Anyways, 0.02% up right now, making negative day, or positive, slightly positive, 0.16%. It turned red for a second. So we're sitting at 4.63% off market cap. I didn't say the price of Ethereum. Ethereum sitting at $197.62. Ripple sitting at 26 cents, basically 26.035, right? So what happened yesterday? We did not have that nice green day like Ethereum had. And right now we're making a negative day, right? These first 2 hours, we basically undid what we made yesterday. Again, indecision happening, right? We are moving sideways, as you can see. That is fine. We are bouncing off this this channel that we broke out of and using it as support, and that is fine. We're also bouncing off the 20MA. That's also fine. We're starting to stagnate on momentum, right? We're starting to make a white, light green bar. Still, the lines are diverging. No signs of them coming together soon. Unless we see a large red candle, they're not going to sharply turn. And sitting low on the RSI at 45, still in the neutral zone. Other than that, contraction on the Bollinger Bands, that's all I could say. Right now, this doesn't look very good. I mean, it's just like a very large triangle, right? Let me do this. It will be from here to here. And then, maybe it's a downsloping channel again, of sorts. Or a wedge. I would need to look at it in a more micro scale to actually determine this. Let's go on the 4 hours. We dropped the viewer, man. Anyways, on the 4 hours, what happened? We had this flag, again, broke to the downside. Pump a little bit to the upside, broke to the downside again. Are we making something here? Divergence? No. Lower low, same negative momentum here. Lower negative momentum again. Are we doing something on the upper part? Not really on the 4 hours. Nothing we can see clearly, right? Are we making something here? Lower low with less RSI, that would be normal. Higher. This wouldn't be too good, right? This wouldn't be too good because this would be more or less bearish divergence developing, right? So from here to here and from here to here. You could have this in the 4 hours again, price action to a downside. Again, that could be why we're seeing this red candle developing. Let's look at the 1 hour to see more clear stuff. Anyways, the 1 hours volatility is open. That's fine. We're starting to stagnate on momentum again, making less positive bars. We're seeing that curve of the MACD line coming towards that signal line and sitting around 48 on the RSI, which puts us as very neutral, right, for Ripple. Anyways, what is happening, man? I mean, I'm trying to see if I can chart something here. I think maybe another channel that we got into, right? So it'll be from here to here, and then maybe here, right? Then we get some respect for that midline, then we use it as resistance, then we use it as support again. We now have to like fine tune it a little bit, but more or less seems to work. It's starting to get confusing with all these channels. I'm gonna go read some stuff real quick. On the 1 hour, what happened? Bullish divergence, right? Off the bat and easy to see. Right? On the 1 hour, we made bullish divergence, right? Price action to the upside, we did get it. Did we have something happening here? Not really. If we go from here to here, we're making sort of, it would be like weak bearish divergence, more or less. Going high on the negative momentum, but still making the same high, if we want to call it. But actually here I can see that this is a straight line I just drew. So yes, we are touching it on both wicks. Again, this will be a straight line on the price and a price a line basically going in. It could certainly be maybe a little bit of a hidden bearish divergence that we're developing, you know, but not 100% clear on this one, so I'm not really going to call it bearish divergence. So we're seeing price action to the downside. It could be because we touched this upper part of that channel we just traced. Bouncing to downside again, sitting above that 20 MA. That's pretty good. We rejected it once, we're rejecting it again right now. And are we having some sort of divergence here? It is very, very slight that I can, and maybe it even isn't, man, because we're really into zoom in real quick. Let me see this on the wick. I'm really trying to see if it's bearish divergence that we're developing, but I think it's not gonna be because are we higher though? This wick had a high of 0.62, sorry, 26287, and this was 2629. It's very slightly higher. I mean, it's more or less flat, and then we were going into it. It wouldn't really be bearish divergence, right? If this was a little bit lower, then yes, it could be for sure. If we don't use the wicks, but we just use the bodies, right, we would be having that hidden bearish divergence on both, right, on the RSI and on the MACD histogram, right? That's what I would be seeing right now. Hidden bearish divergence, potential price action to the downside. We are getting it. You could also consider this an impulse up, flagging, and if you consider this a flag of sorts, then this will be kind of bullish. If it's a sort of wedge that we're forming, right? So again, potential price action to the upside. Let's see what happens in the next couple of hours with this. The chart, this is too small of a pattern for it to be full, but if we don't break down, if we can even still break down and make a channel, right? At some point in time, this is such a small impulse up that I mean, this one might not even be a flag that is forming. You know, I'm just trying to see what could be here to indicate some price action, but right now it's not very clear to see it. All right, cool. We're gonna move on to Litecoin. What is happening with Litecoin? So I found this article from Forbes. Uh, it's a bit speculative, right? It says Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin could be heading to their biggest week ever. We've discussed this. We expect this week maybe to be a bit hectic with Bakkt being released on or going live on the 23rd of September. They're basically also putting it on Bakkt, right? A lot of people in the charts that we have, we see that we're getting to the end of that large triangle structure we have for Bitcoin. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to like hit that mute button. I'm sorry about that, guys. Anyways, we are not seeing that, right? So we are getting to that end, and we're not seeing which way we're gonna go. It's just a lot of indecision going on. Hopefully, with some of the bullish divergence that we developed, we can break to the upside. But again, we also had some bearish divergence develop that has seen us actually play a little bit better. So I'm a bit on the fence right now as to where we're gonna go. I guess the best position, as always, is remain neutral right now until we get some confirmation of what action is gonna happen. If we break to the upside, confirm that we broke into the upside, and then take a position from there. If we break to the downside, again, confirm that we break into the downside, and then shorts or whatever you want to do, right? Stop losses, whatever. Because you can have fake outs, right? You can go a little bit up and then like break back in and then actually dump. So, you know, those things could certainly play. That's why I said wait for confirmation. And once you have confirmation, you can take a position. Now, if it starts to go down, wait until we find a sort of bottom before you actually buy. And then for that, we would have to like do fib retracements to figure out what would be possible retraces after a breakdown. Anyways, let's keep on moving to Litecoin. This says Litecoin eliminate chargebacks and high transaction fee. You know, making a compelling case for merchants. I think this is BS. I'll go through the article and then I'll say why it's BS. Now, John Moore, the vice president of nationwide merchant solutions, it's apparently not local, but a vocal Litecoin proponent. And he's saying that he has probably talked to over 1,000 businesses about accepting Litecoin, and basically over 100 of them have implemented Litecoin as a means of payment. Litecoin is a great option for customers to avoid one of the most hated things in payments, chargebacks. And in the case of Litecoin transactions, consumers decide exactly how much to transfer to a merchant. The merchants don't have to worry about payment fraud since blockchain is virtually immutable. Now, Litecoin's low transaction fees have been the biggest hit with investors. That is BS. They also save money in fees with Litecoin compared to those incurred from processing credit cards or other methods like PayPal. Yeah, I do agree with that. If you use Litecoin, you're probably gonna spend a lot less in processing fees than you would with Visa or MasterCard or any other transaction company, or any company that does the transaction, right? Or even PayPal. So why do I say it's BS? Because Ripple, I don't want to diss on Litecoin, but Ripple is a much better solution for that, right? Settles almost instantly in a couple of seconds, and the fees of transactions are much lower than those of Litecoin. So if you want to, I do agree with this. Someone's pushing it, they're closing with clients, that's fine. Ripple has the same benefits and more, right? So I didn't really like this article. I do have to be neutral here. That's what the show is about, so I do have to talk about it. But then I also have to give my point of view, right? Which is the correct thing to do, and I can say Ripple's probably a much better solution for this. Because of the speed, the ledger is there, it's immutable, and also no chargebacks, and the fees would certainly be much lower than Litecoin. So let's go look at Litecoin and see what's happening. Litecoin on the daily for dominance. Man, yesterday, nice green day, right? Ripple didn't get it. I'm not sure why we didn't get it with Ripple, but Litecoin did see it, 3.62% up right now, still up 0.08. sitting at 1.79% of market cap. Right now, price of Litecoin at $72.65, 66 cents. On the daily, what's happening, right? Nice impulse up. On the top part of that channel, we touched it and rejected it, man. We actually, on the previous day, we actually went all the way up, touched that midline of the previous channel and rejected it back into this channel, managed to stay above that 50% line. However, with the next one, it's really hard to see here if we actually touched it or not, but I'm guessing we're touching that upper part of our channel, that sideways channel that we traced, or slightly downsloping, right? What is happening? So still making positive momentum, still divergence of the MACD and the signal line, sitting neutral, right? 52. What is our price? All the coins are sitting at neutral again. Everyone's expecting a big movement to happen because volume is really low, meaning volume has to pick up, volatility has to come back into the market soon. And with all the speculation that's going to happen with backed for Bitcoin, it's going to drive everyone else with it. And then we're going to have, specifically for Ripple, all the speculation that's going to happen around Swell, right? Which might make it look like the alt season's kicking off. But, I believe it will just be likely an isolated case for Ripple. Anyways, let's go on a more micro scale. Let's go into the 4 hours. What is happening in the 4 hours? Nice bar up. That's fine. We had this bearish divergence that we called out. Price action to the downside. We did get it. We'll see later on in the 1 hour if we develop something else, but because we got price action to the upside. Again, this type of consolidation is bullish. So another pull. This will naturally be a flag. We drop more. We did here. Still managed to stay above that 20 MA. That's fine. And then we had another impulse. We might get something on the 1 hour. Still making a nice positive momentum, right? Things that worry me, nothing. We're making more momentum than here, right? So we're not making anything that is bearish on this price action to the upside, not even on the RSI. So again, divergence of the MACD over the signal line, that's fine. That's where we're still getting positive momentum. When we get across, momentum starts to decrease as they come together. And then when they cross, we get negative momentum. So sitting high on the RSI at 64, not like Ethereum, which is overbought, but still high on the bot scale, right? Let's go into the 1 hour. Contraction on the Bollinger Bands expanded a little bit. That's fine. We were expecting that to happen with those nice impulses up that we've been getting. Anyways, in the 1 hour, more expansion happening on the Bollinger Bands. That's fine. Positive momentum starting to decrease, right? And sitting high on the RSI. We did go into that over bought territory for this high, which is a little bit more than we had here, which is fine, but a lot less than we had here. So on the 1 hour, if you wanted to ignore this small wick and go from here to here, that this small price action to the upside, and you wanted to go from here to here, you would be making bearish divergence, strong bearish divergence on the RSI. But you do have this island. Whether or not you want to ignore it or not, it's up to you. Again, I'm just telling you what I see and the options that are out there, and you can choose whichever one you want or applies to your trading profile, right? So you make the call. I just point out what I see, right? Here we're going up, it's higher. Here we're going up, it's higher. That's fine. Did we do something here, right? We're going lower, making more negative momentum. That's fine. Nothing there. How are we flagging? We're right now, this would be more of like a symmetrical triangle or a small pennant that we're starting to make. Again, this could be bullish. Price action to the upside again. Right now, we don't have anything except for that more larger scale bearish divergence that I called. So we could certainly go up again, touch this channel, try to break it, and if we break it, we'll try to see where we can go from there. But right now, it seems like we could potentially run to the upside. If we run to the upside, we might make less positive momentum and start creating some bearish divergence that could see us get price action to the downside. Just keeping in mind if that develops. Other than that, are we doing something else elsewhere, right? I mean, lower low. I mean, not really. I mean, not going back, right? We had this bullish divergence and this bearish divergence develop, but right now I can't see anything on the oscillators that would indicate something else happening, right? Again, not maybe. You would also have that if you ignore that middle, right? This middle high, and we ignore this middle island, you will be getting that divergence, right? That bearish divergence, and you will also be getting it on the RSI, and you will also be getting it on the MACD line, right? I mean, if we ignore this small bump, whether or not you ignore it, again, like I said, it's entirely up to you. We made that bearish divergence here to here, price action to a downside, right? Already played out, but from here to here, we are making a higher high with more momentum, right? So from here to here, there's nothing. From here to here, there's nothing, right? It will be from a much farther back point. I'm gonna get rid of this flag because it already played out. I'm just gonna leave the potentials that we have set up for that divergence, right? Anyways, that'll be it for Litecoin. Let's go to Binance. Binance will begin to accept deposits tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday for registration for their Binance US, right? So basically both registrations and deposits start on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Binance will allow deposits for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, no, not Ripple, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and USD Tether. Now, if you are wanting to get on Binance exchange in the US, it might be pretty good. It's one of the largest exchanges there is in the world, Binance in China. But this being a US subsidiary, I'm not sure how much traction is gonna pick up at first. It might be good, and it's probably good to be there, right? It certainly is another option for a place to trade. Now, Binance has announced its phase 4 for the lending platform. Basically, on September 18th at 6 a.m. it's going to launch. And with this launch, Binance will make the lending products with fixed terms for 14 days available to users. Now, the subscription period will begin from 6 a.m. on September 18th and will run until September 19th at 00 a.m. All UTC times. Now, the digital assets will include that will be included in the fourth phase are going to be Binance Coin, which was already included in phase 1, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, which was also included in phase 1, and Ethereum Classic. Right? Ripple got included in phase 3, and I can't remember who else got included in phase 3. I think Litecoin and someone else. I think USDC, maybe. Anyways, Bitcoin is available at 3% annual rate of interest, with the individual cap of 20 Bitcoin and a lot size of 0.01 Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic are available at 6% and 7% annual rate of interest, with individual caps of 150 Ethereum and 1,000 Ethereum Classics. And USD Tether, apparently it's looking like the same, right? It's at 10% with 100 USDT lot size and the individual cap at 5 million. I think it's a lot, 5 million, but I mean, that's the cap they're setting. Anyways, yeah, 10% is what they had last time, so it could be a good return, right? For an annual return just for having your USD Tether. If you're just gonna hold it and not do anything with it, and you don't have any plans to trade it, right? Exchange it on the exchange on the exchange. Forgive me for that redundancy, but yeah, if you're not gonna move them on the exchange and you need to do anything with them, you might as well lend them and earn something from that, right? Because if you're just gonna hold it no matter what, and you don't care if the price goes up or down because your play is more long term, and if you lend it and you get a certain percent back, then do it. But if you're not in that position and you think that you might want to get out if the price drops, or if the price goes up, something else you might want to sell, don't do it, because if you lend it, then you cannot get them back until a 14-day period's out. So again, just putting out the options on the table for you guys to make your considerations before you take some action, right? What else is happening? Oh yeah, so apparently the Binance Futures platform was attacked by a market maker. Now, according to a tweet from Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, market maker tried to attack Binance Futures trading platform, but luckily no one was affected. This is a quote from Changpeng. He says, a market maker from a smaller futures exchange tried to attack Binance futures platform. No one was liquidated, as we use the index price, not the futures price, for liquidations. Our innovation. And he says only the attacker lost a bunch of money, and that was that. Then he went on to say, the attacker is a well-known account that trades with Binance and started their own futures exchange. A few months ago, this was the second attempt they tried. Shame. Attack twice. That's not necessarily good, right? Anyways, let's go on to Binance. On the daily, what is going on? Yesterday, lost dominance, right? 0.38% right now, losing dominance. 0.38% again. So this is just starting, so a lot of time to go. Let's see what's going on with the price. Still within that downsloping channel, not being able to do much. Probably we have a line here. We probably had bearish divergence develop at some point in time, and we'll look at it in a more micro scale. Still, yesterday dropped, saw some pushback from the bulls. Yeah, from the bulls. And right now we're still making a negative price action, right? Even though, sorry, not negative price action. Even though we're having negative price, we are still making positive momentum. The lines are very close together. There's certainly a lot of indecision going on, but we're really low on there. It's at 30, right? Almost at oversold. We're high on that sold scale. So again, a lot of potential to run to the upside. Like I said, all the alts are like guns, right? They're loaded and they're cocked, but they're not firing, man. For some reason, that's really awkward. Probably all waiting on Bitcoin to do something. What's happening on the 4 hours, right? We're having some volatility. It's in below 20 MA. Negative momentum started to die out, so we might get cross off the MACD over the signal line. Sitting low on their side at 39. Is something happening, right? We had a line here. It's probably on the 1 hour that we're gonna have to see it play and see what is going on. We had this upsloping sort of triangle that we're already broken out of to the downside. Stuff that we could do, man. This would certainly be a sort of it's not really a channel, it's not really a triangle. I'm gonna lean more for a channel and just say that we're moving sideways, because that looks to be a little bit more accurate with incongruent with what is happening with this coin, right? So I'm gonna go from here to here, probably. Sorry, I'll adjust in a second. I mean, would this fit good, right? Yes, I like this. So we go up. This channel will start here. So we're up. Then using it as sort of support here a little bit. Then we are using it as resistance at that midline. So yeah, I like this channel a little bit more. Slightly downsloping. That's where we would be at right now on that 4 hour scale. Let's go into the 1 hour and try to figure out what is happening with this. On the 1 hour, and some nice impulse up. Then we had a nice wick to the upside, right? And then the bears coming in and ruining our parade, pushing us to the downside. Managed to be above that 20 MA for one candle, and then broke down again. If you wanted to consider this a sort of flag, again, I wouldn't, because you have this wick here. It would distort everything. If you can go here for sure. And this is too micro of a structure, right? I don't like them when they're that small. And then you have all these questions. Do we consider that wick or not? If you consider it, then you're at that end part of your triangle, and you should break out soon. If you don't consider it, you still maybe have almost nothing, right? So I really don't like this structure. I wouldn't want to call it anything right now. We're not getting really good points. If we ignore that long wick, we might get something better. And it might be like a downsloping wedge, which would make a little bit more sense. Again, this would be bullish price action to the upside, but I mean, we have not seen many things play out, right? Are we developing something? No. Higher low with more negative momentum, that is fine. A lower high, a higher high with the, so we would be going opposites, right? So we'll be going here if we take the wick, or if we don't and we just go here to where that candle is, and then we go here to here. We'll be making hidden bearish divergence, so price action continuation. That might be seeing what we're seeing, this price action to the downside. Just keep it in mind, we are seeing at the 42.76 on the RSI, which is on that neutral. Again, momentum starting to decrease. I would like for this to develop a little bit more. See if we are within this downsloping wedge, and if we are, we might break to the downside. I'm not sure. Even though it's bullish, I'm not really seeing anything bullish play out on this, right? Everything has been going downhill for a while, right? So we're within this more major downsloping structure that we have not been able to break out of. We just basically got above that mid part of that channel. Back here probably, or back here and then back here again. But you know, I'm not really liking this very much. If Bitcoin goes up, this might go up, but it just looks like we might keep on this trend until something strong develops. Like I said, we're seeing that sideways movement, which we'll have to see how it plays out, right? And on the more macro scale, from here to here, I don't think there was anything going on. I'm gonna look at the 4 hours real quick. So low, and then it's even higher, and we're making less negative momentum. We wouldn't even making divergence, right? So again, nothing much to see on Binance right now. And that'll be it for today, guys. Does anyone have any questions? I don't even know who's here, man. I know Finn. I think you're here still, but I'm not sure if Soka's here or if Sean Christian tuned in. He was messaging me earlier through Discord, but I'm not sure if he actually got a chance to pop into the stream. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So if no one has any questions, then I think I might just call it a night. It's Monday. I do want to get some rest, and we'll see where this goes, right? Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the subscribers that we have been getting, right? We're sitting at 84 subscribers right now. I'm extremely happy with the way that people have been subscribing, right? We picked up a lot of subscribers this past few days, and that is pretty cool. That's pretty cool for the channel. I do wish more people could turn in to watch the live stream. That would certainly make it a lot more interesting. I do appreciate you guys when you come in and actually show up. It makes it a lot more fun, especially when you have questions and we can interact. It certainly changes the dynamic of the stream a lot. And you know, that's what I really strive for, right? That we have a community where we can all have questions and share ideas, and then have more growth from this, right? Anyways, guys, if there's no questions, thank you, Soka, for tuning in. I just saw your peace sign come up as a me, or as an emoji. Anyways, guys, that'll be all for today. Again, thank you for watching. If you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Sorry if I seem a little bit down. I am still sick. As you can see, as the stream has been moving on, my voice just keeps on getting worse, and that is normal. I mean, the more I speak, the worse it will get. And I do need to get some rest. And thank you guys for being here again. If you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Go show this video to your friends. That'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in.